Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing February Scorpio tarot reading. I'm using a spread called that I offer called Yin-Yang Relationship Check-In. And the way that this spread works is that I have 3 cards from one deck, and then the bottom of the deck will come in here, and then 3 cards from another deck, and then the bottom of the deck from here. So what I'm using is the Thoth deck. And I've taken my Thoth deck and I've trimmed the white edges from around. And this reading is actually being recorded several days after the last reading that I did for this set, because it took me 5 days to color in the backs of all of my Morgan Greer cards. And this is my first time using the deck since then. I know at some point some of the marker might rub off from shuffling it. And it's pretty smelly from the Sharpies still. I'm excited though. I love it. I can't wait to possibly trim some other decks that I have that have a white edge, because these are actually a lot easier to shuffle now. They're a little bit oversized, but now I can hold them in my hands a little better. I was barely making it with my fingers before, so it's a lot easier to shuffle the Thoth deck. Boom. Oops, I got make sure I have one in there. So anyway, I have my bucket of charms here, and I'm going to get some to get an overview of the reading, and then I'll be flipping over these cards. But in the meantime, I'm just going to take the card from the bottom of the deck. So I've got the 7 of Wands inverted here. So we're going to leave that guy. I'm going to put these away. They look so good. I'm going to tell you though, this is a lot more effort than I thought it was going to be. It looks amazing, but be prepared to, if you imitate what I've done here, just be prepared for it to take a long ass time. I'm talking like 20 hours at least. And the bottom of the Thoth deck. This only took like an hour to cut these off, so that was fine. I have the 5 of Wands inverted, which is kind of what we want. I'm also really excited because I finally got the elemental hexagons. I'm going to be using those soon. Not in this reading, but you will see them on my channel very soon. I've been wanting those for about a year. And the website is still operational. If you make the payment, you will get the decks. But the minimum order, I guess, is 3 decks. So you get 3 of the exact same decks. And that's fine. I think it's a very small business, and I don't mind paying them enough to be able to afford to give me what I really want. So it's a little bit of a commitment financially, but it's worth it. I'm really excited and thankful to have those. So props to Calixa, whoever you are out in California, who has fulfilled my order of getting them. So this is focused to about here, and these cards are going to be blurry, but I will show them. So let me get an overview for Scorpio for this reading. I will say too that coloring in all these Morgan Greer cards, I could feel the potency of the deck increasing by like 4 or 5 times. So Scorpio's getting the sauce today. I need one more. Okay. Whoa, I got some sticking out, but we're gonna... I'm not sure what that one that fell back in there was. I had a white flag in the hat, but we're going to put those back. It's this one. The llama. Way up there on the mountaintop. Okay, so what have we got? This one's coming apart. I'm going to have to put some glue on that. Put some glue on it while I've got it out here so it can dry while I'm doing the reading. Me. Hang on. I don't have scissors over here right now. I'm going to use my pliers to break that glue. want to make some, I want to get these charms so that I can make them out of resin or plastic or something, but I don't have a 3D printer or anything yet. I want to get my Angel Oracle deck done before I try to make these available in other than paper. So I have the narwhal, which I just fixed the point of the sword here. I have a coyote. These guys have popped out in these readings already for the February series. Oh, I said coyote right away, because I originally intended this to be a wolf, but apparently today it's coyote, as it sometimes is. My light is doing something weird. It's flapping around. So I have the sun. I have this fae person here. It could be masculine or feminine, so I like to say fae person instead of just fairy, because fairy sounds more female gender specific. So inverted, I have the snake, current. I'll put these inverted ones over here a little bit so they're separate. They want to be separated. So the peace sign was inverted. Is that Yara or is that somebody else? No, Yara looks like a J. Algiz. That's what that is. Resistance. And the ruler. With unmarked increments, so we're not sure how much it is. I just heard cubit. Cubit zirconia. And then I have the tape. Roll of tape. So I have a measuring tape. I have an inverted peace sign, and I have the snake, which is to do with resonance. But if I'm looking at a measuring tape, I can measure the spaces between these sine waves, right? I'm measuring the distance between the peaks. The highs and the lows, the hills and the valleys. And it's dealing with resistance to, essentially resistance to togetherness, and then times of peace. So it's everything is happening in these synchronized waves, right? Just because things are, I also just heard measured progress. Right, so there's a frequency. If you have ups and downs and they're happening at a high frequency where the peaks and the valleys are closer together, that's called rapid cycling. And if you're having any kind of a nervous breakdown, the rapid cycling could make you feel like tearing your own eyeballs out, because it's like stable one second, and then later in the afternoon you're depressed and crying, and then by midnight you're furious and trying to light yourself on fire. And then an hour later, you could just be totally chilled out and being like, oh my god, I came through and I'm so zen. And then, 20 seconds later, you're like, oh! So this is what I'm seeing with these inverted charms. And I put them over here so I could look at them even though they came in inverted. These charms here, Coyote usually represents the trickster energy. Like, everything feels crappy right now or difficult or like it's designed to piss you off. Like somebody just literally yanked the carpet out from under me and now I'm flailing. And it's like, if you hadn't had a bad experience, you wouldn't understand what it means to have that experience. Somebody can't just be, oh yeah, I intentionally ran and jumped on a banana peel, and wouldn't you know, I actually slipped and fell on it. You wouldn't have the experiential knowledge of how far you have to run, at what velocity, and what angle you have to jump on the banana peel at, and then how much traction the surface has to have, and then at what angle and speed and velocity you hit the floor once you lose your balance having slipped on said banana peel. So there's an experiential knowledge that comes with what Coyote brings. And then the narwhal which has been really prevalent in these February readings, has to do with the truth, right? Because it's got a sword on it. It's like an Ace of Swords, but it's coming in a watery element. So it's like the truth that resonates, right? I haven't been resonating with what's going on. Something that resonates is fluid, because it's not just like heart waters, it's psychic waters too, but it also is like what feels true in my heart. This could also be intestinal, right? It's something's not right in my gut. I have a gut feeling that there's bullshit happening over here. I'm resisting this crap, and I'm not going to keep trying to patch things up because, you know, I've come this far and everything's the same. And this is coming in the other direction. I'm seeking out the truth with sonar in my heart center, because all my gut is telling me is danger, Will Robinson. And then we have the sun. This is illumination. This is information. This is, I'm gaining strength in my core, right? I have confidence in myself. The Fae here can do with transformation. It also can be jumping into a different timeline. So if you think of a fairy ring, it also can be that there's people behind the scenes that you don't normally see. People that are small actors in your life. It's, you know, it's like somebody that you think isn't very insignificant. You might only meet them in your life once for like 2 minutes, and it ends up having a profound change later on. You know, like a little bit of fairy dust, just to, like a little bit of salt and pepper to change the flavor of what's going on. You know, where's my keys? Okay. So, this, it's interesting. I have the Five of Wands and then the Seven of Wands. I don't like this over here. I'm going to put it back under the camera where it goes. I was doing a doll video, so I moved everything. Okay. So that's still in focus. Here. Okay. Without the rims, these are a lot closer to the color of my table. The Mystical Shaman Oracle is even more the same color as my table. They really blend in. I probably should be, like, civilized and use a tarot cloth, but I'd have to clean off more of the table and unfold and refold it, and that's a pain in my ass. That's why I haven't done any kind of material ground in, like, over a year. Because I am lazy in that way, and busy. Oh, Five of Wands. So I go off on a rant about the fucking table. Okay, so traditionally, strife, right? Crossing swords, battle ready, lightsabers like vroom, vroom. A little bit of space balls get in there. Saturn in Leo, and I've reassigned it Neptune. It's coming in inverted. So either way, I have like a backwards motion, something in the past, being sucked through a portal and looking at something as if it's like distorted, as it like wraps around the hypercube into another dimension, or there's a retrograde energy. But neither Saturn nor Neptune are currently retrograde, although they were in the recent past. But notice I have 5 and 12 here, and they're both inverted. That's so Hangman energy, which is actually Neptune to begin with. It's so the Hangman, the crossover energy. So there's like something suspended in the air in between these two sections of the yin-yang of the flow. I should also mention that these readings in February deal with timelines to begin with. And then there's a more specific aspect here. It's like the universe is acting in a way that makes you feel like you're getting you know, battered against the rocks in order to really pull you into like a higher resonance of who you are in your core, this confidence to be like, no, this is who I am, instead of just instinctually good, like this good, this bad, this is, well, this is who I am, and I not resonating with this particular behavior, but the truth, and as I feel it in my heart, and aligned to who I am, like deep inside me, is something that I'm starting to pick up on. And it wouldn't have happened without, you know, a little bit of fairy dust and the coyote, you know, sticking his paw out and catching your ankle and tripping you and you falling on your face. And here we have an end to the conflict, which is what I was talking about over here. There's like a repeated cyclical plow going by. I didn't think there was enough snow for that. I thought it stopped snowing, but apparently there's enough on the road for the plow to go by. So scraping away all of that strife. This, the crossover card, the 7 of Wands, is putting down your defenses. But look at both of these cards have a lot of yellow solar energy. So again, the idea of the solar center, the core, which is really just above the gut, but usually when you have a gut feeling, it's your solar center as well. There's an idea, there's illumination. It's like I'm letting down my guard. I'm not going to be so jumpy and defensive and always be like waiting for the next wave of peace, of what is it? I wish there was like a good opposite for the word peace. Just getting Don't Tread on Me by Metallica in my head. To secure peace, you must prepare for war. And this is, I'm not going to keep preparing for war. I want to have a more open experience. Open experience! Okay, so let's flip over these recently supercharged cards that I have done. Queen of Cups. Psychic, right in that heart center. Look at all that water. Right? It's like the feminine energy answer to the narwhal. So I think the female narwhals don't have a horn, but I could be mistaken. Strength card inverted. So that's sun energy. Inverted, it gives a moon energy. The Queen of Cups is very silvery moonlit too, although her direct energy, her direct energy is Gemini and Cancer. So she is very much the moon, but she's also a little bit mercurial. She's like Quicksilver. I don't know. I had like 3 things. I'm like Quicksilver, mosquitoes, Freddie Mercury, hats. This is blue energy. It's like only blue, only yellow. Interesting. Okay, so this kid here, the 2 of Wands. Look at this. 7 minus 2 equals the 7 minus 5 equals the 2. So we're in this place to have some kind of decision. But this is Mars in Aries energy. Right? So Mars energy can be very much the conflict and the strife and the war and the in-between battles. But it can also be, I'm making a treaty with the enemy. I'm looking into the crystal ball. I'm making a decision for my future that's based on understanding the opposition instead of I had to wait for the plow to go back the other way. So instead of waiting for the opposition essentially to come back and try to retaliate. Right? I am deciding on a path that resonates with me. And here it's coming in with this blue energy, but there's other chakral, didn't realize that could be an adjective. There's other chakra energies at play here. There's a wider spectrum being taken into consideration when considering, you know, I'm not going to choose your path, but that's okay because I'm looking out for my own future in some way. This lack of strength here, I think this actually has to do with transforming the strife and saying I didn't have the strength for that before. Because there was something internal that wasn't standing up, and here it's saying, like, in some way it's like I'm transforming the inner child, but I might come back to that. Again, it's also because there's a moon energy. I'm trying to gain illumination into the dark side. Like, why was I afraid to stick up for myself in the past? I have to make a decision. Notice that these two cards specifically are looking towards what's going on over here. Right, it's like I'm looking into the sunrise. And this card is looking this way. I know it's hard to see, but this guy's eye line is actually going that way. And this inverted strength card is facing that way too. So it's facing the sort of weakness and, you know, I am not confident in myself, so I'm just going to be like, fuck you, is in the past, where the ups and downs between strife and peace come closer and closer together. There's no lasting cycle. Okay. So we have the Hermit inverted. Virgo, which is also mercurial energy. Look at this. Cerberus. My dog Spot. This kind of looks like it's in the middle of a dimensional shift because it's going all cubist. This is... Did I say this was the inner child? Maybe. But the Hermit can also be the inner child, and this is having gone within for illumination. I am experiencing this expansion, right? The sun is within, it's in the core. So I think this constant defensiveness for Scorpio does have to do with the inner child, perhaps growing up in a traumatic environment where a core stability wasn't allowed, but there's this idea of like, no, I choose to be the leader of my own personal area, and then it kind of increases dramatically. 13 is a queen. That's transformation. I am becoming in flow with my own instincts, with my own psychic resonance, and with the heart center as well. The King of Cups is sort of, I build with my emotions in a structural way. The Queen of Cups is more, I understand my emotions and let them flow in and out like the tide, and don't have to be stuck in that emotion or tied to it in a way that makes it come back and hit the needle. Like I don't have to hit this frequency constantly. I allow it to flow in and out, and then the lack of resistance to the emotion helps it pass through more quickly. And that's what the Queen is doing. It's like, I'm not going to chug this bottle of wine and get drunk in 2 minutes with all this frequency. I'm going to sip it casually all evening and maybe have 1 or 2 glasses. It's kind of energy. Right? She's not drunk on her feelings. She's feeling responsibly, I guess. So we have a 9 here inverted. So, I mean, there's a progression here, right? 5. There's no 6, though. There might be a 6 coming, but I have 5, 7, 8, 9. This is a 4, because 13 breaks down to a 4. And then this is the Ace of Cups, right? So this transformation is bringing in the Ace of Cups, which is kind of expected. It's an emotional rebirth, basically. I'm going through the transformation at 13 here. I also have 9 and 1 and combining to form a 10, which is a completion. It's like once I fully go within, and look how matchy-matchy these colors are. When I go within, I realize that the power of my heart was there the whole time. Oh my god. The Knight of Wands. Okay, so this is the king in this deck. Because the kings in the Thoth deck are all on horses. They're all running, well, they're all out and about in some kind of vehicular propulsion. What's normally a knight in this deck is princes, and the princes all have chariots, but the knight is the king who's like out doing battle. Look at this intense core energy. King of Wands is Cancer and Leo. So what happens is that we start off with this sour gut energy, like tired of all the friction and resistance. Sun, right? My sun energy is my lights are off in my core. And we go through this moon energy. It's like, well, if my sun is off, maybe I can get some light from the moon. Let me take into the darkness, go into the hermit cave, and sort of drop through my own system. And once I find the Holy Grail here, basically, by going within, I realized that I was in control of my solar center the whole time. And the king's coming out with the Cancer and the Leo energy, the moon and the sun. And being like, not today, motherfucker, I got legs. Now it's really interesting because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Okay, Pluto is the Roman word for Hades, the god of the underworld, and which is interesting because there's this going under. And in Tartarus, which is basically, hell or purgatory or whatever, there's this idea that you have to sort of go underwater to get to it. You have to be rowed across some river by the boatman, and then you're going into a cave. And the cave is the hermit, and the water here is the cups, and why the narwhal is in there as well. And then in Tartarus, there's a river of fire, and that's what his mantle looks like. I think I got this with one of the other readings, that there's this idea that we're going like the magic school bus inside the earth kind of energy. And it's like the whole point of this is essentially temperance, because there's water and fire happening, but also the sun and the moon is a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And I feel like this is almost like Scorpio may have been dealing with an overbearing feminine energy, and their inner child has been wounded from that and creates this conflict between their masculine energy and their inner feminine, or if someone is a feminine, it's like there's a distortion where it feels like, well, if I am a feminine, I don't want to be like that, so I'm like in this constant battle with the feminine energy, and I don't want to do that. And then, you know, I mean, the thing is like we have both masculine and feminine energies when we're adults, and then our inner child has masculine and feminine energies too. But no matter what's happening, it's like there's a distortion from childhood that creates like a a battle between those two energies. And it's kind of subtle because there isn't, it's like Scorpio isn't really able to tell where it stems from, but ultimately they have to make a choice to come out of this constant internal battle. And notice how this cup has two handles, one for each energy. Why is there another plow going by? There's literally another plow going by. Just wait. There's the 6. There's the 3. And there's the 4. I mean, the ultimate thing for Scorpio here is... Oh, I was going to say... Judgment 20 is fire. But the planet that goes with the Judgment card is Pluto. So there's this idea of fire and water happening. But if you want to breach judgment and close out a chapter, right? We're not just completing the section in the middle. We're actually finishing the whole chapter. You have to hit Temperance first, which is 14, the 1 plus the Queen. The King is also 14, but he can also be a 1. 14 breaks down to 5, which is a shift or a pivot. I mean, Scorpio is the fiery water sign, right? Cancer is like the earthy water sign, and then Pisces is the airy water sign. So Scorpio always has this idea of like fire, right? Of burning, of stinging, especially if you think of the scorpion. Like, ooh, this yellow water bit me. Yellow because it's fire. What am I trying to say here? I want to get another card because I'm having trouble wrapping this up, and I need to. Give me the conclusion to make the sense of the thing. Oh man, these are smelly, smelly, smelly. Okay. So I have the 9 of Cups. This is all about contentment. And look at the whole point here. I have very much blue and very much yellow. Again, this idea of trying to come... It's basically getting your heart and your gut to speak to each other. right? It's this idea of I feel satisfied. Like like I feel, again, like I said, it's like you don't want to get like all your energy all at once and get fucking turned. You want more of a mellow, right? You want to vibe. This guy looks a little bit sloshed here because he's got 9 cups, but it's like that was a really good dinner. Like I don't want seconds because I'm gonna puke, but I feel really satisfied. So there's this idea that you don't have to feel like someone's hurting you or like someone's just coming to get you. Like, I am so sick of having to go through the same thing where someone tries to get me from behind and I have to turn around and smack them in the head instead. It's just this constant, like, wearing down of, I can't believe I have to tell you for the 800th time that I don't want that. It's coming to a place of being in command of your soul's, like, the core reactor of your soul, like what lights you up, what is your being, and again, the heart center release of that, and that transformative energy, that shift, is what creates this sort of like, oh my god, I feel okay for the first time ever. So it's kind of like you set out to make a choice, and then this same kid, like 2 weeks later, his hair is a little longer and he's, you know, got a little chunkier and a little fancier. It's like all bringing it together. Right. So, if you want to get a personal reading, check out the stuff below in the box, Linktree there. I gotta cut this short because I'm running out of time. So I hope that was helpful. Stay groovy and we'll see you later. Bye.